Welcome to the I Told You So podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ben Cole. I started this podcast because I noticed an erosion of societal discourse and how normal conversations are often fueled by polarization. The I Told You So podcast offers an opportunity for healthy discourse and effective discussions. I select topics to discuss with listeners and guests of the I Told You So podcast. Listeners and guests predict what will happen in the future. I track those predictions and announce who predicted accurately when those predictions become true. The podcast offers topics where listeners and guests can participate in discussions with the goal of predicting the future so they can proudly say, I told you so. My guest for this episode is Ifedayo Sunday Olubejide. Ifedayo Sunday Olubejide is a doctoral student in leadership communication at Kansas State University. He is also a research fellow at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos, Nigeria, where he is part of the Division of Security and Strategic Studies. Sunday's research interests include international migration, conflict and post-conflict reconstruction, peace building, and the refugee flow regime. He is also interested in general issues such as climate change, environmental degradation, and sustainable development. Sunday holds a bachelor's degree in international relations from the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Nigeria, and a master's degree from the Institute of African Studies Peace and Conflict Studies program at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. Sunday received the Ambassador of Peace Award on the 5th of May in 2011 in recognition of his immense contribution to universal moral values, interreligious cooperation, and international harmony by the Universal Peace Federation from the Interreligious and International Federation for World Peace headquarters in New York City. On this episode, Sunday and I discuss community engagement and citizenship priorities. Sunday, thanks for being a guest on the I
Yeah,
Told You So podcast. Let
thank
me
you.
start by asking you, what role should individual citizens play in community engagement efforts?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Ben Cole, for having me in this program. Thank you. So we'll be up and downs trying to organize our system. So thank you very much for having me in this program. So your first question was that what is the role that individual play in community engagement efforts? Now, the key point in that question is very simple. The first thing is citizen, and the second one is engagement. Now, when we talk of citizen, we're talking of a process whereby so particular set of people are legitimately recognized to be inhabitants of a particular location, a geographical location which is distinct from another particular location. For example, in the United States, as it's where here, America has 50 states. So when we say citizenship in Nigeria, it can be distant from citizenship in West Africa, for example, because West Africa is composed of ECOWAS, the economic community of West African states, of which Nigeria is one of the major countries in West Africa. So when we say citizenship and citizen, they go side by side. Citizen are the people, the citizenship is the process. So if we look at the role which individual play in community engagement, we are talking of a process whereby citizens engage in initiatives that is meant to promote the betterment of the people in a particular geographical location. And how do they do that? By contributing to the decision-making process and help to shape the future of the community. So how do they shape the future of the community? By engaging, by ideating, by bringing out discussion in such a way that you pull out ideas and pull it together in such a way that vast majority of people will benefit from it. And that's why we talk about the issues of democracy, the issues of rule of law, fundamental human rights as declared by the United Nations in 1948 and the likes. So if we look into the role of individual, the role that individual play in community engagement, most importantly, is decision-making process. Just recently, just this week, the new president in America emerged. And as a matter of fact, we have been seeing his pronouncement, that he has been saying all the time, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and what have you. The electionary process was a situation whereby the individual will participate in what naturally belongs to them by voting. And that's why we have the electoral college. So when you ask, what is the role that individual will play in community engagement, is by involving in decision-making process that is going to affect their life in a particular community. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, so you mentioned the election in the United States. So speaking of that, and I really appreciate your response to individual citizens and how they play a role, a really important role in community engagement efforts. But how can local governments better support community-driven initiatives?
Of course. For example, Kansas, I'm here in Manhattan, we have 105 rallies. You understand? The various rallies in this environment do everything possible via funding. The removal of taxation to the government of the state. At the end of the day, the money comes back to the society. We have a series of organizations here in Kansas State University, where I'm presently studying leadership communication PhD, where food are being distributed across channels. We see churches, we see NGOs, we see Cat Cupboard, we see all my. In fact, as a matter of fact, I've been able to pinpoint and locate no fewer than 30 places that food are being distributed. And we start to ask ourselves, who are those contributing the food? Who are those paying for the food? They are the community themselves that are contributing towards that effort. Little by little makes the whole. So if we ask, how can local government better support driven initiative? It implies that there should be collective funding, bringing of funding together from various sources by contribution. For example, I give you the essence of CSR, corporate social responsibility, where CEOs of organizations try as much as possible to contribute their quota to the society. And at the end of the day, in return, their own tax will be cut off. 50%, 40%, and so on and so forth. So funding is one of the major processes through which, this can be done by organizing events, bringing citizens together. What kind of problems do they have in this community? How do they solve it? Is it road? Is it water? We know it's responsibility of the government, but the question is that who is government? The individual is the government. So that's just it for that. Yeah, thank you.
A lot of people have different backgrounds, different life experiences. So how can people with different backgrounds and views come together to solve community issues?
Very good. One of the major ways through which people in a particular community with different background can solve community issues is one, by disagreeing in their area of differences. America is a particular country which I've studied very well that does not respect only one single particular religion, be it Christian, Buddha, Hindu, a traditional religion, and what have you. It is what is bringing the people together at a focal point that matters most. Food, hunger, lack does not respect any religion. So the most important thing to bring people together in that wise, in such a way that you disagree across background, across creed, across religion, and so on and so forth, is to disagree in their area of differences. So if I say I'm a Christian, I'm no more superior than a Muslim. And if a traditionalist is not superior than me, the most important objective is that there's a particular thing that all of us stand to achieve together, just like the American currency. The American currency, in God we trust. There is no emblem of this religion, that religion, and what have you. God is God. Any kind of God I want to call it, God is God. So in disagreeing in that area of differences means that everybody needs to come together at that focal point at the middle so that they can achieve a particular objective. Yeah.
That's a very good perspective. So, what are the biggest barriers to effective community engagement, and how can they be overcome?
All right. Now, one of the major barriers to effective community engagement is that you look into a process whereby there is, the access to resources, the movement of goods and services from one place to another. That if, for example, we have like 50 bags of rice to be shared in a particular environment, if we have 20 in the other side, one of the major things that should be considered is the population of the people in that particular environment. So we don't take 50 bags, for example, to go and share for people that are just meager, like 80 people, and we have thousands of people that doesn't have any at all. So the ratio must be balanced in such a way that somebody will be able to pool resources, have access to resources, and so on and so forth. Then another factor to consider is the issue of exclusion. Inclusivity matters a lot because an individual who is a citizen of a particular state means that he's supposed to benefit from that particular state. So if that's how it is, it means that there should be equitable distribution of opportunities across board so that people will have something to pool. You pool resources. For example, I'll give you an example. Now, most of the times you go to your mailbox in the United States, you see all manner of credit cards there. Take this, because they know you are working to contribute to the society. So which means at times you may not have money, but you want to spend money. So for them, they know what you need. You just open your box, you see some credit card there, like Discover, like O1 Capital, and so on and so forth. So you use and return, you use and return. So by so doing, it implies that so many barriers of discrimination will be reduced to the minimum in such a way that everybody or vast majority have access to resources. There's the essence of inclusivity so that everybody will participate in the betterment of a particular society in such a way that people are not marginalized. And for me, I think that is what is the essence of the essence of democracy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I asked you, I think the first question I asked you was, what role should individual citizens play in community engagement efforts? But I'm thinking about how to define what that really is. And so I guess what I'm asking you to do is define the responsible citizen. What is a responsible citizen in today's society? And you can define that locally, regionally, globally, but really, what is a responsible citizen today?
All right. One of the major first thing that comes to mind when we talk of responsible citizen is the idea of positive civic life. And when I say positive civic life now, I'm talking of a process whereby an individual has made up his mind to contribute meaningfully to the betterment of his community. Of course, we understand the fact that one time American president has said, don't think of what your country can do for you. Think of what you can do for your country. I think that's JF Kennedy. I think, that what can you contribute as an individual to your country, not just plummeting, not just pillage, not just picking what belongs to the society, to yourself and amassing wealth, personal aggrandizement as is seen in other places of the world. You understand? So when we say responsible citizen in present day world, in the world today, in the present world, we are talking of people that contribute positively to civic life in such a way that they are responsible to the promotion of betterment and equality for all. So that's what, for me, responsible citizen mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so thinking about that, you have an exceptional experience in working with people. You have exceptional research. I'm assuming you've worked on quite a few projects over your background and through your studies. So, what are some examples of successful community projects, and what made them work in your experience?
Very good. Now, when we talk of community projects, the first thing that comes to mind for me again and again is that Project revolves around community in such a way that you look at the solution to it. For example, when disaster do occur, like hurricane, typhoon, and so on, we see portal that pop up. Oh, Kansas State contribute. Oh, this state contributes. I've engaged personally on my own. I've engaged in activities where I want to donate little money, because little money makes the whole. It can be $5, it can be $10, and so on and so forth. I will just drop that money. I mean, people that are affected with hurricane, we can see the hailing that just happened and what have you. So by doing that, it implies that you engage in community projects. They may not know you. It's not, I mean, you don't need to be known. So when you see that, okay, you are in Manhattan, for example, as we hear now, and you discover the fact that in Wichita that people are dying and whatever, and typhoon is taking over there, or in Topeka and what have you, and the state government decide to create a portal that, oh, people are dying over there, what you can contribute, just do what you can do, $5, $10, $15, either recurring or just once. All you need is very simple. Since it's not affecting your own environment, you just pick that money, just put your card, and just donate to that particular direction. So what does that mean? It means that the little bit makes the whole in such a way that it's going to solve a particular problem for other community, because your own community is not affected. So that is one. Then two, in order to engage in community projects, there are instances whereby the community themselves involves in cleaning of their environment. Not just the waste bin, not just the environmental department and water, sanitation department and what have you, will come to clear, to clean and everything. There are times in the environment, to make the environment green, we just pick all those things, clear and put in the bin, and they the environmental section will come and pick everything and take it over, and everywhere remain clean. Why? Because it is our environment. And when it is our environment, we are the ones that are here. Washington, D.C. is not in Manhattan, though that is capital of the United States anyway. But the fact is that when we engage in our community in such a way that we want to promote the betterment of it, either through donation, cleanup, educating ourselves on the issue of disaster management, you understand, early warning signal, for example, when you forecast that, oh, there's going to be typhoon in the next 2 days, you understand, inform the people, your neighbors and what have you, because most of the time, some people does not even have time to even check their their laptop, their phone and everything, work, money, work. But you create a situation whereby community comes together and you inform yourself and participate in what is going to better your community, so that there will be less stress at the end of the day. Yeah, thank you.
So when I think about the future, as you know, this podcast is about the future and thinking about the future, and trying to actually predict the future if possible. When I think about the future, I think about the influence of technology.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about community engagement and civic responsibility, how can technology be used to improve engagement and communication within communities?
Very good. We have forum, discussion portal, where irrespective of the particular location, discussions are being managed in such a way that people transfer information from one place to another, so that what is going to affect this, if something is affecting this particular community, another community is supposed to know, so that they will have time to evacuate their belongings, probably disaster or through water flow, erosion, flood, and whatever. So there are so many apps presently. I don't want to mention names so that we not look as if it's adverts, So there are so many applications that people download on their phone. So when all these disasters coming by way of early warning signal, is going to pop up, either red or blue or green or white, as the case may be. They have various colors. So this application will be in people's phone in such a way that it will help the community to engage with themselves. So people are not distant away. Everybody is in a particular app. Either you use app A, applications A, application B, C, D, and so on and so forth. People are there together. They communicate with themselves. They see what is going to happen tomorrow. And when it's going to happen, they will take early warning signal in such a way that people, here in the United States, when the typhoon is coming, people go to the basement, down. But when people are not informed, what happens? It can lead to deaths, lack, natural disaster, destruction of houses and what have you. But the most important thing is life. Even though typhoon is going to take up the houses, take up properties and what have you. When you get to the basement and you are safe, when everything is gone, because you have used that app to know when it's going to occur, you are in the basement already. When it is gone, you come out and you feel alive, and the government will now respond to you that yes, this is what is happening in this environment. Will now take care of you from those funds that were contributed. Recall, I just told you in the course of there was this disaster that happened in April, and people were contributing to the state government of Kansas State. I did my own bit then to contribute few dollars to that portal, yes. So that at the end of the day, this little money that will come together, we bring out everything, we bring the money together and they will put it in the right place to make the community continue to grow, to participate in development and what have you. Yeah, thank you.
So appreciate your comments and your answers to the questions. So I should probably tell the listeners that I was calling you Sunday, and the reason why
Mm.
I mean, you go by Sunday, and the reason why you
Yes.
Sunday is because your father named you Sunday because you were born on a Sunday, and you prefer.
Yes, you're correct.
So I'll just say, Sunday, thanks again for being a guest on the I Told You So podcast. So
Yeah,
if
thank
listeners
you.
want to learn more, you can send an email message to Sunday at Sunday Olubejide at ksu.edu. And that's his name. I'll just spell that out. SUNDAYOLUBEJIDE at ksu.edu. And you can pick up on the conversation with him if you'd like it as well. So now, because this podcast is about predicting the future, my questions to those listening are these. What can you do to be a better citizen in the future? And what can you do to engage in your community in the future? And what does the future look like in your local community if people are focused on how they can be positive influencers in their communities? I'd like to know. You can let me know at 785 473 3721. That's my phone number. You can text or call me there. You can also send an email message to me at ITYS at BenKohlITYS.com. That's ITYS at BenKohlITYS.com, or post on any of my social media channels. You also can comment on this episode in Spotify or YouTube. Just comment within the episode. So you can go to the I Told You So podcast at BenKohlITYS.com to connect and get your own I Told You So items at the merchandise link. So you can choose from shirts and hats and hoodies and coffee mugs and lots of other items. The I Told You So podcast is a place, at least I hope, is a space for healthy discourse and effective discussions with the goal of predicting the future so you can proudly say, I told you so. Also, if your business or organization is interested in advertising on the I Told You So podcast, please let me know that too. I do thank you for tuning in to the I Told You So podcast. And thanks again to my guest, Sunday
Thank you.
G Day. Appreciate you being here and talking about your passion
Thank
for
you.
community development. Followers of the podcast are very important. So please follow, like, subscribe, leave a comment, give a high rating, and share with your friends. I'm your host, Dr. Ben Kohl, and I hope to hear from you soon.